Okay, so I'm going to draw this out first, and then I will go back to my labs and actually show you how to enter it. But we want these in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Now, I know these are inequalities, but this is the form we want to use. We'll just have an inequality here. So I'm going to take the first one, and I have 2x minus 6y less than or equal to 12, and I solve for y, and I do that by subtracting negative 2x. I have negative 6y less than or equal to negative 2x plus 12. And then I divide by negative 6. And when you divide by negative, you have to flip the sign of the inequality. So that's going to cancel over here, leaves me with y. Negative 2 over negative 6 reduces to a positive 1/3 x. That's going to be my slope. And I should have said that earlier. The m is your slope. And the b is your y-intercept. And that's why we want it in that form. That'll help us graph it. So negative 2 over 6 reduces to 1/3. 12 over negative 6 reduces to a negative 2. So for this one, I start at negative 2, which is here, and I go up 1 over 3. So that line would look something like this if I graphed it. And then I'm focused on y is greater than or equal to. The equal to means I have a solid line, which I already do, and greater than would be I'm going to shade above. Let me go with a yellow and not that red. I'm going to shade above for that solution. So that was one of my inequalities, and now I need to see where these two inequalities overlap. So let's go to the second one, which is 5x minus 2y greater than 10. I subtract 5x from both sides. Negative 2y greater than negative 5x plus 10. I divide by negative 2. And once again, when I divide by negative, I have to flip that sign. So I have y, this flips, less than. This becomes positive 5/2 x minus 5. This is going to be what I want to graph. So I start at negative 5, which is here. I go up 5 over 2, which would be here. And this is going to be a dotted line because it's simply less than and not less than or equal to. So I have a dotted line. It goes up here. And then I want this one less than. So y is less than means I need to shade this on the bottom side of that line where y is less than this value. So I'm shading it here, and it would be this entire region just for that one solution. But now I'm trying to figure out where do these two things overlap. So if I look at where these two regions overlap, that would be this region right here, and that purple color turned out black when you mix it with all the other colors. So that's the region that I should have on my final graph in my labs. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to take a picture of these two lines so I don't have to do the math again. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so when you graph this, the first line I had was y is greater than or equal to 1/3 x minus 2. So when I graph this, I know I want a solid line. I start at negative 2, and I went up 1 over 3, and I have this line, and I'm going to shade above. The next line I had was y is less than. Since it's strictly less than, I have a dotted line, and it's less than 5/2 x minus 5. So I start at negative 5. I go up 5 over 2, and less than would be shade beneath. So I've shaded beneath this line, and it should look like this. So if you remember when I had it shaded in the two different color highlighted, that's what my graph looked like. But then I'm only curious at where it overlaps, which would be this area here. Hopefully you can see my mouse. So I need to delete the other areas. I'm going to click on this one and then press delete. It asks me, do you want to delete this object? Okay. And then I'm going to click on this area, delete. Do you want to delete this object? Okay. And that should be what I'm left with. So I click save and then check answer, and hopefully it tells me I did this right. If you don't want to highlight until you're at the very end, you wouldn't have to delete those first two highlights that I did. That's up to you.